Good morning. We're here at Devil's Den. It's a spring in Florida, and we're about to experience the martini glass dive. It's not a cavern dive, it's not a cave dive, it's a spring, and I understand that once you go down the steps, then the springs kind of open up and you can always see daylight. Can't see it from here, but right back here underneath that is where the opening to the spring is at Devil's Den, and I'm hoping to walk down there and get some shots looking up toward the daylight. Just a big opening in the ground. I guess it was a sinkhole at some point. We'll have to hear more about the history of it.
Entrance is still right there behind you. Once you're on that platform, look at it as imaginary clock. Straight ahead of you is 12 o'clock. Directly behind you is 6 o'clock. The only reason to tell you that is for points of reference while you're doing your dive. You can enter the water one of two ways. You can use stairs on the left-hand side, or when you get to the platform, there's also stairs straight ahead. Once you're in the water, if you look towards the back of the cave, so around 6 o'clock, you'll see some buoys with descent lines with platforms at the bottom of those. You can use those platforms for your dive training exercises. Or as you see the stairs coming down, this is the main platform with your water line. So as you start here, you'll start descending, going around the basin of the den, following the contours of the cave. So as you're doing your dive, you're doing rotations, but you're also going down at about a 45-degree angle. So as you start to come back up and you're doing your rotations, just remember, follow the contours of the cave. If you go down at that 45 and you try and come straight up, you'll still be underneath that rock ledge overhang. So just be aware of your overhead while you're down there.
It helps if you walk like this, Liam. Use the side of your foot instead of the front.
Now make sure to duck, because this will bump your head.
That was mine.
I have one that the hard way coming up. And then it's really hard.
Right.
Make sure you have the duck.
Smile, you're on camera.
You might not have to duck because you're shorter.
The
Camel
inflate.
down.
Isn't the water pretty?
Yeah. And it looks chilly.
Yes, it
I can already feel how cold it is from the rails. Yeah.
Are they sweating like when you take things out of the refrigerator? Here you can see, now that we're finally underwater, you can see all the rocks around us and look up toward the top of the opening at Devil's Den and see where the daylight shines through. I read that Devil's Den is a karst window, and that means that it's a spot where the roof over an underground or a subterranean river has collapsed. The shape that it created is like an inverted martini glass, and the area that you dive is shaped like the actual glass, upside down though. It widens and spirals outward, the area where you can swim and dive. It goes down about 54 feet. It's about 120 feet across. And you're going in some overhead environment areas over and under rocks, but you can always look up and see the daylight at the top. Apparently, Devil's Den got its name from the vapor rising due to that 72-degree water in the cooler winter rising up and looking like a chimney. All these rocks are prehistoric that we're looking at. Those freshwater fish, and actually there were also some turtles and some really big catfish and one albino catfish, were all stocked by the people who run Devil's Den. My dive partners are Bill and Elmer, and they're both here running GoPros, and you can see that in some places they were a little bit shaky because they were having to squeeze through these rocks and kind of turn this way and that to slide through. There was nowhere that you couldn't get through. You just had to adjust a little bit, so it was a lot of fun finding the pathway through the rocks. I was using a new Ralf Tech wetsuit in this dive, and it's a 5mm instead of what I'm used to, a 3mm. What that meant was I needed a little bit more weight to keep me down because the wetsuit was so much thicker, but I had most recently been diving in salt water, so I actually needed a little less weight due to the type of water. So I ended up adding 2 pounds, and that seemed to be about right. A couple times I felt like I was really flailing around. Actually, looking at the video, it looks pretty smooth, but I felt like I was just getting used to neutral buoyancy with the new thicker wetsuit. It's a semi-dry wetsuit, this one by Ralf Tech, and I ended up absolutely loving it. It has double seals at the wrists and neck and also at the ankles, and that meant that it was semi-dry, semi-wet, semi-dry. I was also trying out a new Zena, well actually a Zeagle bag to go with my Zena outfit and my BCD, and the bag was just so that I could carry a mask and gloves down those steps that you saw earlier and have my hands free, just put my wrists through my fins and hold on to the rails on the way down. All that ended up working out pretty good. Really enjoyed that Ralf Tech wetsuit. The 5mm wetsuit was warm enough. It was the first time I've ever dove in springs and not been just chilly, and the gear bag ended up working out really well.
Good morning. We're back after the dive at Devil's Den, and I just wanted to go over a few things. One of the things I didn't get to show you very much was this new Ralf Tech wetsuit. This is a semi-dry suit, and it was a real surprise to me. I think I didn't realize that semi-dry meant pretty darn dry. I really enjoyed the suit. It's got, at every opening, it's got zippers, and there's an inner and an outer seal. So I think that's what really helps keep the water out. I will tell you that when I got into the ladies' room and was pretty much committed, had this nearly off, I realized I'd made a mistake and had not unzipped the zipper. I thought I was going to have to call an extraction team to get me out of it. You need to unzip the zipper before you turn it inside out and start pulling it off. Otherwise, you're kind of locked in like some kind of handcuffs or something. This is the 5mm wetsuit, and this is the first time I've ever dove in a spring and not been freezing cold and chattering and shaking toward the end of 30-40 minutes of diving. So I really enjoyed this wetsuit. The other thing I was testing out was a new bag from Zeagle. It's not new to them, but it was new to me. And I put this on my BC in place of their usual bag. This is the one that comes with the Zeagle Zena, and this is the one with the mesh bag that folds out like that. That just stays right on your BC. Well, I needed a little bit more space because I needed to be able to put a mask and put my gloves in there, and my mask doesn't fit in one of these, and mainly my flashlight doesn't fit in it. So I decided to try out one of these. My flashlight fits in it down at the bottom, my gloves fit in it, and my mask fits in here too. And so I can have hands free, only carrying my fins and balancing myself, and not have to carry the fins and the mask and hold on to a handrail. So this worked out really great. It's a little bit bigger than I had planned, but that means that it actually fit all the gear I wanted to fit in it. Haven't quite decided the best way to attach it. I have one attachment point on here. I think there's a way to use these other straps and attach it a few more times. I might do that. This Zeagle bag worked out really, really well for me. It worked out great. It was just a way to add to the versatility of the Zeagle Zena BCD. The whole reason I picked the Zeagle Zena BCD was because there isn't a lot of extra material on it. It's pretty streamlined. It doesn't have Velcro that's going to snag my bathing suits. It's got a zipper in the front instead. It also fits very well to your body. It has three different places on each side of you that it fits to you. And so that was part of the beauty of it, was the streamlined features of it. And so it was kind of funny when I realized I needed another bag. I'm still deciding whether I want to use this all the time and how I want to attach it. It was very handy. It was a little bit bigger than I needed, but not horribly so, and I attached it high enough up that it didn't drag below. So that's my new accessory pouch and my Ralf Tech wetsuit that kept me warm even in the coldest of cold springs at Devil's Den. And I think next we'll be looking for whether or not a travel BCD is worth the expense. That will be one of my next episodes. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe so you get a notification for the next episode. Down below there's a little bell. If you double click on the bell, that will give you a little message that my next video is up. It's not annoying, it's just kind of like Instagram. It'll just pop up and say another video's shown up. That way you don't miss any of my videos. Talk to you later. Bye.